Good morning. It is Monday morning, and I don't know about you, but I am ready to start my week, the very first week of May. And wow, it came like a storm, didn't it? Actually, we had a storm last night, so I literally mean it came like a storm. But I'm wondering what you have going on this May. Drop a comment down below. If you are watching, let us know if you're live or on the replay. You put hashtag live if you catch it while you see the live up in the corner, or you put hashtag replay if you are watching it and we're not live. And that's just to let me know who's watching and who's getting my information, right? I appreciate it so much when I have that set of knowledge. But today on Monday Morning Motivation, which you're going to notice we've switched to a new time, just 15 minutes before 7. And normally I think I was doing it at 7, right? So maybe I was doing it at 8. See, it's already a thing of the past. That's what's going to happen for me is that May is going to bring some changes. I am doing some morning training, and it is the only time slot I had was 7 to 9. And so, in order to get that in, I am pushing back some of the things that are going on, except on Wednesdays and um, on Friday mornings when we do the social, it's only going to be the first and the third Fridays in the morning. I'm going to bring back the evening ones, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. And so I'm working that out. I have a new mentor I'm working with, and she's giving me ideas. And really, it's all about serving you guys the best way possible. So stand tuned for that one. But today, what we're going to talk about is a topic that I think is rather fascinating, and that's how to know if you are flourishing. So lovely. We are back live. I don't know what happened there, but all of a sudden, Chrome just stopped. But it claims that we're still going. So I don't know if you saw a big black screen. I'll have to work on that in the future. But we are on our Monday motivation, and I had just started to say that today's topic is going to be how to know if you're flourishing. So if you think you are flourishing, go ahead and drop um, yes or no. Yes would be you are flourishing, you know it in your heart, and no is you think you've got some room for improvement there. But I'm going to tell you the 3 things I found out about flourishing, and I think that you will appreciate that. So, flourishing is actually part of our Thrive theme for the month. So, when you thrive, you flourish or prosper. And I started looking more at that word. So to flourish, of course, means to expand, and just there is so much growth that there's really a metamorphosis that happens. Okay. When you are flourishing, just everything is in alignment. Way that you know if you are flourishing is that flourishing people are happy and satisfied. Are you happy and satisfied? Their lives have a purpose. Do you know your purpose? And they feel some degree of mastery, as well as they accept all parts of themselves. Wow. I love part work. And part work is just you have that real powerful part of yourself. You have the kind of shy part of yourself. You have a determined part of yourself. Maybe you have the achiever part of yourself. And you love all those parts of you. You notice that some days you're on target and some days you're just a mess. And some days you are needy and some days you're just powerhouse, right? But you love all of you, that you accept yourself in those moments and you're okay with you. That is one of the major signs of flourishing. When you don't feel that there needs to be a lot of change to your identity. See, when people feel that need for, they just don't feel right in their skin, that's when you see a lot of distress, depression. They're being held back or they're being asked to be a person that they don't feel right with in their soul. That's when the struggle begins. But when you are cognizant of all of the components that make you up, we are complex. We are not meant to be just one way. And when you are accepting of all the parts of you, that will be a beautiful moment for you. The second thing is that people who are flourishing have a sense of personal growth and they are always growing, changing, evolving. As we go into spring, you start to see signs of plants that are flourishing, right? They were little springs coming out, little sprigs coming out of the ground, and now the leaves start to come out. They're beautiful color. They're brimming with life, and you can see it. So that personal growth is like that. Your friends will say, something's new about you, or I like your haircut, or that's a cool outfit. But it's not really those things, right? It's just you exuding an energy. Your persona is so strong that people start to notice. They're like, wow, you are on fire, girl. So you know when you're in personal growth mode, you can feel it. You can see it. If you're looking at pictures of yourself and stuff, you're like, wow, I'm looking pretty good. Okay. And then the third is flourishing adults have higher levels of motivation to work actively to pursue their goals. Now, I think this is very important. As a life coach, I know that there are a number of people who struggle with their goals. We have our dreams, we have our things that we want to get done in this lifetime. It's our purpose. We feel it in our soul. But yet, day after day, week after week, month after month, things are getting in our way. Our priorities are not the dream. Our priorities are taking care of our kids, doing stuff for our spouse, paying the bills, doing the job, cleaning up. And it becomes this vicious cycle where we wake up suddenly and we're like, wow, I haven't done any of the things that I intended. Or you find an old notebook with last year's goals on it and you go, oh, wow, these are the same as this year's goals. So awareness is a big part of this. You have to be cognizant that there is not growth happening or you're just stuck. But from that place, you can then motivate yourself using the tools and start to recognize ways to reach those goals. Because actually reaching the goals, making the progress towards your goals will add momentum, will give you some inertia, will get the other things rolling. So it's definitely a symbiotic relationship. You want to achieve the goals and you want to flourish, but you have to start working towards the goals so that you can flourish. It's not either or, it's a cycle. So a time in my life when I definitely knew I was flourishing was shortly after my divorce. Of course, I was going through all the stuff that happens when you're working through those issues with your other partner, or your former partner, I guess I should say. And I had to dig deep for some of the issues I was having. And we'd been married 25 years, and there was a point at which I was like, none of the 25 years mattered. Like, if we can walk away from this, then was it all a lie? Was it all a horrible mistake? And I sat in that place for a little bit, and I went, you know what? This is not going to be healthy. This is a lie. Those 25 years that we had together were beautiful. We had our children. We grew into the people that we were. There was meaning and power and purpose behind that part of our life. But we both decided that we wanted something different, and we moved on. And so I approached it with that mindset. And that broke open growth. It allowed me to become the person that I had been holding back from. I no longer wanted to live with dread and worry over everything. I wanted to live a life of no regrets and to push myself to be the very best version of me that I could be. Interestingly enough, it coincided with starting a diet plan that I was so busy. We started our school about the same time, and there was just so much going on that all I could do was follow the diet plan. Like, I didn't have to think it. I just was like, okay, eat a packet, eat a salad. I didn't have any reason to go outside of the bounds of the diet. And before I knew it, the weight came off. Like, I set a goal and I surprised myself. I set the goal for 150 and I was at 135 before the end of the year. And I was starting to feel like, wow, this is kind of crazy. But people notice when you lose a significant amount of weight. But it isn't so much the weight, it's the self-confidence, the way you carry yourself, the way that you're achieving something that you set out to do. And it jumpstarts your system, right? So my hair looked great, my skin looked great, my body looked great, and I felt great. And as a result, it was obvious I was flourishing. Now, when you are putting out that kind of positive growth energy, you're like a magnet. And that's when I met my husband now, Chris. He came into my life. I was teaching a class to military members that were retiring or leaving the service. And he was one of my students. And he had also recently gone through a divorce, had his kids, and we were able to discuss that feeling of being in. He'd been married 22 years and I'd been married 25. So we had a lot of history and understanding of what it's like to have gone through a life with somebody else. And we wanted to be married. We wanted to have that security with another partner. And so it was a match made in heaven, as we like to say. I'm still flourishing. There are still growth moments that need to occur. The weight, not all of it, but a lot of it came back, and I'm working to push myself back into there. A lot more of a conflict between the hormones now, which is a whole different story, and body systems. I'm finding that I've got some autoimmune issues, some things that are causing some stress to my system. And as a result, I'm just doing the best that I can, but I'm flourishing in other areas. And I'm in love with all the parts of me, the parts that are struggling in the weight area, the parts that aren't giving up and are working to get all the health information to solve the problems that are going on in my body, the part of me that is not a quitter, that is going to keep working and find a solution to the autoimmune and whatever the eating thing is or whatever it's going to be. I wish you the best as well, that you would be able to flourish in this time period. And I'm looking forward to knowing what it is you're feeling about this topic. So if you want to know more about flourishing, go ahead and put a hashtag Thrive and let's have a conversation, right? Like, I'll just give you a call and reach out to you, and we can set up a time that we could talk about how you're doing in your life. Okay? I hope you guys have a really blessed week. and it's going to be a great week. Take care.